Welcome to the beginner's guide to the stock market. The stock market is one of the most popular vehicles for building wealth, yet for a beginner it can be very confusing. There are so many terms, lots of jargon, and stories of people making and losing fortunes. But what exactly are stocks? What's the difference between the stock market, a stock exchange, and a stock index? And how do we make sure that we make money in the stock market? Well, that's what this video is all about. Remember, the better we understand how all this stuff works, the more we can reduce our risk and the more money we're going to make. First up, what is the stock market? The best explanation I have heard from an investor's point of view was from the founder of Vanguard and the index fund, Jack Bogle. He said, "The stock market is a casino in the short term and a machine for compounding wealth in the long term." And this will begin to make more sense as we go on. So in this video, we are going to be going through why stocks were even created, the stock exchange, the stock market index, the index fund, how to make money in the stock market, and also the biggest mistake that new investors make. As always, if you do find anything useful in the video, be sure to drop a like, as that's always very much appreciated. So I'm going to take you through a natural progression where each piece gets built on top, and by the end everything should make complete sense. First up, we're going to start with how stocks came about. Why do we even have them? And the story begins over 400 years ago in Amsterdam in Holland. At the time, there were businesses, but the general public didn't own stocks. Then one company changed the business world forever. Let's take a look. The year is 1611, and the company is the Dutch East India Company. This is a trading company, and they are planning an epic voyage all the way from Amsterdam, which is around about here, and they're going to be sailing for many months all around the coast of Africa, all the way to India, where they will be picking up tea and exotic spices and silks. But the voyage is going to take many months and cost a lot of money. So this was the first time a company was going to sell a portion of the company to investors. And we had the first official IPO. Initial public offering, and it's the perfect win-win scenario. The company gets to raise a lot of money to build the business, and the general public get to own a little piece of the company. So now, for the first time in history, investors could own stocks, a little piece in a company. The company raises money, investors get a little slice of the business, and it's a win-win. But then the next problem arose. Let's say you now own shares in the East India Company, or another company has issued some stock and you want to buy some of those too. Well, there was no actual way to do this, so there became a need for a place where people could buy, sell, or exchange stocks. And this gave birth to the first stock exchange. There are now many stock exchanges all around the world, but there are only around 16 major stock markets. You may have heard of the two big ones in America, the Nasdaq and the New York Stock Exchange. In Canada, there is the Toronto Stock Exchange. In the UK, we have the London Stock Exchange. In Europe, it's the Euronext. And every major country will have their own version. And think of it like a big store where you buy and sell stocks. Now, the problem is you can't just walk into a big store and start helping yourself to the products. You're going to need some kind of shopkeeper or store assistant to help you in the process. They will help you show you around, show you what's on offer, help you to make the purchase, and make sure everything's accounted for. And these are called stock brokers. And this is the iconic picture of the traditional stockbroker, a crazy busy trading floor, and normally you would have to call your broker up to buy and sell your stocks. Well, nowadays things have changed and we are a bit spoiled. We now have these amazing companies popping up. Big established companies like Vanguard or Fidelity, and the newer apps that we have on our phone like Robinhood and Trading 212. But essentially they all do the same thing. They help make the process of buying and selling stocks simple. So when the business IPOs and sells a portion of the company to investors, this is called the primary market. Stock exchanges are where you're buying and selling existing shares, and this is known as the secondary market. The shares now are just going from one person to another person to another person and so on. And the stockbroker is just the middleman that makes the whole buying and selling process a lot easier. And like a croupier at the casino, they take a little slice every time something is bought and sold. And yes, this includes apps like Robinhood and Trading 212, which say they're commission free, but they still take a slice through the bid-ask spread, which basically just means that they buy you in a little bit above the stock price and they sell you a little bit below the stock price, and they keep the difference, the spread. And when we put all of this together, we now have the stock market. Now, the next important piece of the puzzle was the stock index and the index fund. Take a look. In 1885, this man, Charles Dow, was trying to make analyzing stocks and the stock market a lot easier, and he came up with a genius idea. He took 12 large stocks at the time, he grouped them all together, he added up all the different stock prices, he divided it by themselves, and he got an average. And this way he could track a whole group of stocks with just one number. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average was born, nowadays referred to as the Dow. And this way we could see how a whole group of companies are doing with just one number. And today this has now moved forward. We have lots of different indices. One of the most famous is the S&P 500 index. And this one is basically 500 of the largest companies in America. And this way we can see how the US market is performing as a whole, again tracked through one number. In the UK we have the FTSE 100 index, and this tracks 100 of the largest companies in the UK. We now have a world index, which takes a couple of thousand stocks from all around the world, so we can see how the global stock market is performing. We've moved on to other asset classes like bonds. This is the Vanguard Total Bond Market Index, so we can see how all the different bonds perform as an aggregate, and we can do this with any sector now. This one is a technology stock sector. And this brings us nicely on to the next creation, the index fund. In 1975, John C. Bogle, also known as Jack Bogle, founded Vanguard and created the very first index fund. The objective was simple. It was just to copy the performance of an index. So going back to the S&P 500, and historically since inception, these 500 companies have grown around 10% per year. And this is basically because businesses are becoming more productive. But the index fund created a big division between the active investors. These are people that actively try to buy and sell stocks, buy and sell different funds, and they're all trying to beat the market, the index fund. And then we have the passive investors. And these are the people that are just happy to buy an index fund, as they know this is a very simple strategy and they will be making money over the long term. So that was the index fund, and the difference between passive and active investing. Now, the big question left is, how should you invest in the stock market? Well, there are generally three groups of people. There are more, but for simplicity's sake, let's stick with three. And you need to decide which group you're going to fall into. The first group is the professional active investor. Their full-time job is investing, or investing other people's money. Their objective is trying to beat the market, beat the index fund, also known as generating alpha. And they have all the tools, all the resources, the proprietary software, and Warren Buffett would fall into this category. Next, we have the second group, the amateur active investor, also known as the retail investor. And these people will have 9-to-5 jobs, and they are buying and selling and trying to make money on the side. And the main difference between the professional and the amateur is that the amateur doesn't have all the resources, the tools, the proprietary software. They wouldn't know how to read a company's financial statement or to properly assess risk, or know how to work out the intrinsic value of a business. You know the people. They generally invest in stocks that they like the look of, or it's something that their friend bought, or they've seen a YouTube video and found out that this is the next stock that's going to 10x. And the third group of people are the passive investors. These are the people that will just regularly buy into an index fund, and they know that in 20 to 30 years, they're probably going to have a lot of money. So you need to decide which group you're going to fall into. For me, I got clarity by studying the billionaire investors like Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, Jack Bogle, the founder of Vanguard, as they pretty much all agree that for 95% of people, investing in a simple S&P 500 index fund is going to be the right choice. And various studies and statistics show that over the long term, 95% of people don't beat the index fund. Now, many people do outperform the market over the short term, but as the time frame increases, fewer and fewer people are able to beat the index. And amazingly, this includes professional investors too. Take a look. Timing the market is basically playing poker with the best players in the world who play around the clock with nearly unlimited resources. You don't want to be in that game. My regular recommendation has always been a low-cost S&P 500 index fund. Don't look for the needle in the haystack, just buy the haystack. And finally, as with most things in life, often the hardest part is just getting started. So here is the best place to start according to studies, Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio. Remember, the stock market is a casino in the short term and a machine for compounding wealth in the long term. So where is the best place to start? You want to build your machine for compounding wealth. So for 95% of people, the best place to start would be an S&P 500 index fund or ETF. An ETF is pretty much the same as an index fund, but this one is exchange traded fund. So pretty much the same thing, apart from it's available on exchanges. And two important points I would add: keep the fees down to the minimum. So a great place is Vanguard, which has very low fees. Or even better, some of these new phone apps have a 0 annual platform fee, so it's even cheaper than Vanguard. And the second point, be sure it's tax efficient. So in America, you have the Roth IRA. In the UK, we have the ISA, and each country will have their own version. And this way you can pay into it for months and years, build up a massive pot of money, and you'll never pay capital gains tax. And one final point worth noting is that for a lot of people, they're still going to have the impulsion to buy individual stocks. As you may see family and friends buying stocks that have doubled in a year. So the guidance I would offer is this. If you really want to buy individual stocks, or maybe a potential high-performing fund like the ARK funds, then maybe allocate 10% or 20% or maybe up to 50% into these individual positions where you're trying to beat the market. And if you are the 1 in 10 or 1 in 20 people that can consistently do it, then great. And if not, most of your money is safe in a good old-fashioned S&P 500 index fund. So for 95% of people, the big mistake would be having 100% of your portfolio in individual stocks right from the start. The data shows that over the long term, an index fund will make you the most money. So there you are guys, a lot covered, but at least now you probably know more than 90% of the population when it comes to the stock market. You now know what stocks are and how they started, the stock exchange, stock brokers, the stock index, the index fund, active versus passive investing, the best place to start for 95% of people, and also the biggest mistake that people can make. And this concludes the beginner's guide to the stock market. Hope you enjoyed it, and just one favor to ask. If you did find anything useful in the video, be sure to drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I invite you to click below and join us. I do have some great videos coming up that you don't want to miss. Okay, cheers guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.